Ugh. Can I have a happy episode for Lishu? Can I have a happy Lishu episode? I said that before for Lifa, but can I have that for Lishu now? This girl cannot be happy. She's just being tortured in there. I just want everybody in her pavilion, just fire them all. Get every single one of them out. I know that I don't know if Jinshi could actually do that. He might be able to actually do that. I mean, they talk about the fact that the consorts themselves bring in the lady in waitings, they bring in the servants and whatnot, and that's why Lolan has a whole crap ton of them. But it's like, please, get rid of them all. Anyways, yes, episode 38 of Apothecary Diaries. Interesting episode. Actually finally got into really a lot of why Jinshi doesn't just say it. He seems to have a lot of hesitation there. Goshun's pushing him. Goshun knows that something's coming up here. They're implying something big is coming up. We have to prepare our camp. And yeah, there's going to be different sides, different groups, and we got to get her behind us. And you got to stop waiting. And it seems like a lot of his hesitation, at least based on this episode, is Lacan, which honestly for me, I completely forgot. I didn't forget about Lacan, but I assumed that we got over that. I thought that that whole situation was resolved and maybe he now has, his beloved back. And so he could be happy over here. And now we can focus on bringing Mamo in. But it seems like that's still something that's kind of hanging there. Something that's giving Jinshi pause, which I don't know how to resolve that. Like if him waiting to tell Mao, him hesitating, how that's going to change anything over the time, unless he's afraid that how Mao reacts to it might reflect upon Lacan. If she's not happy about it, she's not going to want to join Jinshi, and Lacan's going to act. But either way, I guess it's more of the aspect that if she's very accepting of it, she can then push that upon Lacan. I don't know. The hesitation there obviously is because Lacan, he's afraid of Lacan. He doesn't want to get on Lacan's bad side. Lacan is a neutral party. Jinshi's obviously going to be one of the parties, and depending on how Mamo reacts, could end up causing Lacan's wrath. He doesn't want Lacan's wrath. Don't want to get on his bad side. But again, very interesting to finally get that to come to the forefront. But overall, solid episode. Just gut punch with Lishu. So let's get right into it. Opening up the episode with, yes, Mamo suggesting to Lishu, probably should go to Jinshi. Jinshi's the problem solver. Although we all know where Jinshi's going to go. I like the fact she's like, I went to Jinshi, told her to go to Jinshi, but then it comes back to me anyways. But man, that little bit there with Gokyo, is basically saying, hey, let me borrow her again. I like how Gokyo at first is like, oh, I should go see her. No, you should stay here. Girl, you're almost there. Which, yes, how the episode ends and a little snippet of the preview. I kind of wonder what direction that's going to go. Is this finally time for Gokyo? ? But yes, you can't go anywhere. You're way too late with the bun in the oven. You can't be going there. And yes, she put Gyokyo Prod and Jinshi again. Her? Oh, we're doing this again. Mama's like, we're going to do this whole routine again. But no, Jinshi comes over there and says, what exactly he said? It was something very interesting. Return Mamo to me. He said her name. That's a big thing there. Let's just acknowledge the fact that he finally said her name. Once I'm done and give her to you, no matter what you ask her, she won't say a word. What the hell is that? That is such a loaded statement, Jinshi. What the hell are you talking about? Are you It kind of implies this idea that, like, I'm going to trap her and make her mine. Nothing happened. I don't know if he's just trying to tease her, if he's trying to... My assumption here is that he's trying to throw it back at Gyokyo, that he's not afraid of expressing himself to Mamo anymore. That's all I can really draw from that, because it's not as if anything happened between Jinshi and Mamo until she got back. So I don't know. I think he's just trying to show a little bit. He's got a little bit of, I guess he's got a little bit of confidence finally. His frog's been touched, and so he's finally got some confidence. It's just a very weird statement, but at least I can acknowledge that he finally said her name. But yeah, after this, Mao kind of questions if Goshun possibly knows the secret about Jinshi. This is something that she doesn't want to know. Again, what she said when she got there, I completely forgot that was a thing, and now I'm reminded now that I see him. This is something I don't want to know. People are not allowed in the River Palace unless you're of royalty, or if you're family of the royalty, if your bloodline is of the emperor themselves. Jinshi shouldn't be here with a frog. So yeah, this is a big secret. This is something that she doesn't want to know. Now, she does at some point in the episode question, if that's the case, then is possibly Jinshi of the bloodline, which she quickly kind of goes, okay, stop thinking about it, but she's at least acknowledging it there. She's making a connection there that she doesn't want to make. Again, I do acknowledge the fact that she literally doesn't want to know, because it's bad to know. I at least get why she's so dithering. There's a point to her dithering, which, yes, is the reason why I'm most frustrated with Jinshi himself. Just make it out there and tell her that it's okay to know. It's annoying in that regard. But now that's when we go to Lishu's place, and the gut punches start as they arrive there. She looks, distraught as always, like she doesn't want to be there. And immediately upon seeing Jinshi, she's all smiles. It's so sad because the moment that Jinshi walks in there is like, hey, Lishu, and she's all super happy. Oh, the pretty Jinshi's here for me, and she's super happy to see him. Yay, somebody's visiting me. And then immediately he's like, where's the bathhouse? Oh, that place. Damn it, he's not here to have tea. But yes, they go to the bathhouse. She mentions the fact that when she takes the baths, she usually likes to have it lukewarm. She's used to going alone because she was, from the nunnery. This is something that she's used to. Only Kanan was present because she was, changing her clothes and everything like that. And then, yes, at some point while she was trying to cool down, she looks out the window and she sees a figure. And that's when the former head lady in waiting just comes in and starts strutting her stuff. I do kind of like this, honestly, as much as I hate the fact of anybody bullying Lishu. It irritates the fire out of me. I do kind of understand her perspective and the idea that, yes, apparently a head lady in waiting, their role is to make sure that the consort themselves presents themselves well. So yes, her correcting her from having outbursts and whatnot is technically what they do. The problem is that her way of doing it sucks. It's like, yeah, she technically is right that Kanan should be keeping her in check, but the way you do it is not that way. The former head lady in waiting, if that's who she is, she's a bully. That's an utter bully. This is a nasty person. Whereas Kanan is nurturing. She's nurturing and not correcting. So I do kind of see this nice dynamic here, but I still acknowledge the fact that the only reason this lady's doing this is because she's got a bone to pick. This former head lady in waiting, she got a bone to pick. She's trying to spit in their face. Oh, this is why you need me. You're not doing your job properly. Oh, a former poison taster trying to take on my role. You don't know what you're doing. You're failing at this. Why are you stuck on these trivial things? This is ridiculous. You're making yourself look bad. I like how finally Jinshi kind of steps up and says, hey, ball. Jinshi just walks up and said, hey, go get a ball. Go get me some tea. Sparkle, sparkle, shiny, shiny. Runs off after tea. Yes, we'll go get some tea. Again, I do like the fact that there's still some truth to what she's saying. Despite the fact that she's a nasty person, and I hate anybody bullying my Lishu, take care of my Lishu, she's technically right. On the opposite end, Lishu's sort of an oddity here. Yes, the former emperor, the late emperor, dude had a lot of very young women in there that shouldn't have been there, and they probably had to deal with the same thing here, but Lishu herself is very young. I think she was 15. This is not normal for a child to have to deal with, and so, yes, she's going to have insecurities. She's going to have fears, and so being able to nurture that while also, yes, presenting her properly in front of other people, that's the key thing there. Which, yes, is why I hate everything around Lishu. Like, this girl does not need to be here. But yes, they go into the storage area. Another sign of how terrible these lady-in-waitings are, the fact that they have the entire area over there is molded. Like, their entire wall is molded. Typically, they don't have a storage area here. I kind of wonder if it was trying to say something here, in the idea that normally these bathhouses, they're separate. They're separate from the building itself, which would make sense, again, technically, because you have water draining out of it. It's going to be draining down and going out. So yes, having a building right next to it, it's going to cause mold. But this is a recent building, which is odd there because you would think that a newer building would be structured properly. Like, they learn things from older ones. Hey, when we built a building next to a bathhouse, it caused mold. Maybe we shouldn't do that in the future one. But this one, which was created probably like 3 years ago, it has this problem. It seems odd. So my mind right here was already going to some crazy conspiracy where they were trying to take out Lishu, and so they built it so that it would have mold and that she would get sick from the mold or something like that. But I don't think that's the case. But yeah, because they suck at cleaning and managing this stuff, they end up letting the mold get away with it, causing the steam come up. And yes, the mirror. Which the mirror was the gut punch. Which, yes, the mirror was the absolute gut punch. And the moment I seen that reflection come up there, and the fact that she stated it was her mother's, I'm like, oh, they engraved this thing, didn't they, with her face? And it's probably some final message from the mom. I'm surprised they didn't go that far, but yes, that's what Lishu takes it to, and that's what's the sad part of that whole situation. Is that, yes, this is a mirror that she put away when she got the new one from the envoy. Obviously, the new one from the envoy, it's not bronze, it's actual glass, it's better reflection and whatnot. She's going to be using that. And yes, probably for appearances too. She probably wanted to keep using that old mirror, but she's using the new one probably because they want her to. But yeah, she still keeps it around, still keeps it polished. Mama assumes that she's possibly keeping it polished daily as sort of a way of getting away from everything. That yes, this girl is basically locked up in this palace. She's stuck in there, has no friends. I'm assuming Kanan is supporting her decently well, but everybody else hates her. They don't want her there. They obviously show that disdain for her. They don't like her. And yes, the Emperor himself, the only reason that she's there, doesn't come and visit her. Jinshi showing up every now and then to make her happy is about all she's got. So this is her way of getting away. This is her way of remembering life as it once was. You know, back when she was with her family or whatever. I had a family at some point. I had a mom at some point. It's very, very special to her. Please, Mama, don't harm it. This is special to me. But upon seeing the reflection, she immediately thinks it's her mom. Yeah, this is the ghost that I was seeing. Problem solved there. Don't care. That's Mom. She was dancing. It's the ghost of my mother. That's exactly what it was. It wasn't coincidence. Like Mama was saying, it's just a bunch of coincidences. Comes to effect. This reflection happened to happen. You have this curtain flying because of the steam. No, it's not. She was dancing. Lishu's mother apparently loved to dance. She passed away shortly after having Lishu. She couldn't dance anymore. And now she's back. She's back to haunt me because I'm not using her mirror anymore. That's what Lishu thinks. That's what the young mind of Lishu thinks, is that my mom has come to haunt me. Absolute gut punch, girls. And it sucks because Mama was trying to repeat. It's just a series of coincidences. No, that's not what she thinks. She's not going to accept whatever you say. That's what happened. That sucks. And I agree with Mama here. At her age, at that young age that she's at, she should be enjoying life. But she's not. She can't. She's stuck here. Which again is my frustration around the Emperor. Like, why the hell do you have her here? Now, granted, you could probably say that at the nunnery, it wasn't any different. When she was a nun, possibly wasn't any different. Maybe she was locked up somewhere as well, wasn't able to go out and about. But this is sort of a prison, and it keeps begging the question to me is, why is the Emperor doing it? Why does he have her there? He obviously has no interest in her. She is not the body type and probably will not be the body type forever that he'll ever care for. By the time she is the body type, he'll probably have a prince and an empress and everything. So why is Lishu there? Question mark. And yeah, it sucks right here, Mama acknowledging the idea that Lishu longs for her mother. This is something that she can't understand. And I can kind of get that with Mama's perspective, just because she's always been with her adopted father. She's always been with Loman. It barely even indicates any care whatsoever for her mother. It's just something that's not even on her mind. It's something that she can't understand. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with that brief moment that we get an insight into her childhood, where she was always alone, sitting there crying for somebody to pay attention to her, for somebody to give her something, to help her with something, and everybody was too busy with things that they never heard her. So she closed off her emotions. It's not just her mother. She can't express emotions or accept emotions really from anybody. Mama herself is emotionally broken. But yeah, that's when the former head shows back up with the tea, very quickly starts picking on Lishu again, comes in there, grabs the mirror, tries to take it away, and Lishu, for once, go girl. The moment she finally pushed back, I was like, go girl. Yes. This is like probably massive, and I'm hoping this is massive character development for Lishu. Somebody took something that's precious from me. She's always passive. This is always Lishu. Always passive. Yes, whatever. Okay, yes, don't hit me. Don't hit me. That's really what it feels like she is. She's just basically constantly cowering away. Please don't hit me again. Please don't yell at me again. I don't want to hear it. And then right here is finally a moment where she says, no, give that back to me. That was a very big move by Lishu. And I really do hope that's going to be something that she'll hopefully now feel comfortable with. When you have these individuals that are pushing against her, that she can finally kind of snap back and say, no. Simple as that. No. Get away from me. Leave that alone. Get out of here. She needs to finally step up and finally say something to these people. No, we're going to do it this way. And hopefully this is a step in that direction. But yeah, her crying and stuff like that absolutely tore me up. She was crying on that mirror, absolutely broke me. This is my only thing I have left in my family. Don't take away from me. And it's sad without addressing it. I think she's going to hold true to that idea that she has, that this is a mirror that is a signification of my mother, and she's going to have it by her side all the time, fearing the wrath of her mother. Even though Mama is trying to push upon her that this is coincidence, this is not a ghost, it's coincidences, I didn't catch Lishu accepting that. But yeah, the former head starts getting snappy. Then Jinshi steps forward. You got this crest on your hairpin. Seems a little inappropriate to have a crest of another high-ranking consort in the presence of your consort. That seems a little inappropriate. I sort of agree with Mao Mao here, probably trying to retain her dignity, not calling it out in front of everybody, but with the situation, he couldn't really ignore it anymore. But anyways, with Lishu stuff out of the way, done with the heartbreaking stuff, we get into the other eunuchs, the other servants that are in the area, the new ones from the 30 crowd that came in. Open up with Mao Mao and the quack, Gwen, talking about her still doing her research, talking about how this whole process go. And now I find this an important scene, and I think they're hinting at something here. The fact that Mao Mao is still looking into stuff, and Gwen's like, hey, they don't do that anymore. Why would you be researching that? They don't even do that procedure anymore. She questions how they enter. He's like, oh, they do a surgery. No, that's not what I mean. How do they know that they're eunuchs? And he's like, oh yeah, they have to be examined. He's like, so you talk about like a grab? Are you talking about a grab? But it gets into the fact that the officials from every department will examine them every time they enter and exit. Now, with this whole thing and them describing this new pretty one as the fact that he's full of scars and that he doesn't like to show skin, I'm wondering if right now they're sort of indicating at what is going to be essentially this new eunuch, this new servant that's there. I don't think he's a eunuch. I think they're implying right here that he was never checked. They say that they're supposed to be checked every time they enter, and he was brought in with a group of 30, and they probably just assumed that he was a eunuch, and they didn't really go and do an actual physical check. And the fact that he's covered in scars, they probably didn't want to look at it. So I think what they're doing here is they're implying this dude is equipped. He has a frog. I think they're implying this dude has a frog. Now, I don't know how he can get away with that, with doing, cleaning and whatnot. He's going to have to take a bath at some point, and he could probably hide it. But I think with the emphasis here on the idea that they get checked when they come in, he came in with 30 other people, he's covered in scars, I think they purposely didn't check him and assumed that he was a eunuch. And I think that's going to turn something big later on. Now, how possibly, my previous suggestion is the idea that I think that Lolan probably knows him. How the fact that he has a frog can be used in a political move or a strategy, I don't know. Unless he's possibly going to have this particular servant sneak into the quarters of one of the pavilions, sneak into Gyokyo's quarters, sneak into Lifa's, sneak into one of them and thus make them believe that this man bed them, and thus the child might not be the emperor. That sucks because the only prime target for that is going to be Liha. It could be Lolan. It could be that Lolan knows the particular man and wants to have his child. I'm thinking he's probably going to be related to Lolan, though. But yeah, I think that's the direction it's going. That it's going to seed a sort of doubt as to the legitimacy of a child of that particular consort by having them sneak into their bedchambers. That's going to suck, though, because that's going to involve something, and I don't want that to happen to one of my consort girls. I don't want that to happen to one of my girls. That's the only thing I can think of, though. That's the only thing I can think of. Unless it's to cause a stir and have them have to check everybody. And Jinshi gets caught up in that. Goshun gets caught up in that. That there's a presence of a man that has a frog. They're going to go through and check all of them. Question mark. Because again, right now, men with frogs are not allowed in the rear palace. Yeah, they're not allowed to do the procedure anymore, but they're still allowed to hire them, and they're still allowed to be there. But that's the cause as to why they have less and less men in the back, is because they stop the procedure. We'll see, though. It seems like too much emphasis on this stuff. Yeah, seeing the quack get all crazy thirsty about it. He did point out the fact that one of the new men got tangled up with a low-ranking consort when they were in the bath. I don't think we've talked about that yet. I don't think they brought that up yet. Anyways, then we get a cut to Goshun and Jinshi, and they're talking about trying to tell Mao Mao. Again, I talked about that earlier. The idea that he's waiting too long, and that, yes, he's dealing with the fact that he's afraid of the strategist intervening. He's afraid of Lacan getting involved. That this guy is way too powerful. People do not get caught up with him. Anybody that does try anything with Lacan, they get taken out. They literally just avoid him, and that's why he's got to take this very carefully. But yeah, then they started bringing up all the complaints about Lolan. They're still complaining about the fact that she has too many servants, and that, yes, her aesthetics are ruining the palace. Lolan's showing off too much. I'm waiting for that to finally come to a head. And my prediction that Shishui is Lolan to finally come to a head. But yeah, the other complaint is that the women are flirting with this new eunuch. So they go over there and check him out. I like how they kind of point out that, yeah, this is technically the rear palace is a really great place for people that used to be in forced servitude to sort of find their freedom. It's a good place, like a middle place for them to be. They come there fresh off the chains. They come back there. They're given that a little bit of that freedom. They get used to it. They get accustomed to it. And then once they've served their time, they can finally go out to the real world, out amongst the people. It's kind of nice. But yes, they go to check out this guy. Again, they note the fact that his left side seems to be off. And he points out the fact that he's been beaten so much, his entire left side is numb, which does make me kind of believe it's possibly like a nerve damage or brain damage of some type. I wonder if they might get into things like MS or something like that could have been caused by beating or excessive work, because I'm kind of familiar with that stuff. So that'd be interesting to get in that, because that can sometimes be a situation with multiple sclerosis, is the idea of it causing one side entirely to become numb. But yeah, they point out the fact that this guy is really smart and he knows how to handle the women well. When Shigoshin's like, yeah, you're one to talk. And immediately he just shines at the girls and they all swoon. But yes, as they confront the guy to check him out and tells him about the fact that they're going to get accustomed to what they're working on, then they'll transfer him over. Suddenly out of nowhere, a cart tips over, or at least the wheel breaks. And Zhoulan's there with Mao Mao. And they've dropped a bunch of ice for one of the high-ranking consorts. And the guy's like, I'm done. And Zhoulan's like, I'm sorry. She's holding a hairpin. I recognize the hairpin, but I can't place it. I don't know if that was from Gyokyo or not. I'm totally blanking on whose hairpin, and I'm sure they'll talk about it next episode. But no, seriously, I'm not concerned for Zhoulan. It's like Jinshi's right there, and Zhoulan's in a crisis. Jinshi's going to come over and be like, all right, what's going on? All right, chill out. Nobody's in trouble. Take it easy. I mean, yes, it technically does make sense for the guy that he's going to be ruined. If he loses something like that's very valuable, something he has to bring in there, he failed his mission, he's going to get in trouble. And yeah, obviously Zhoulan's going to be upset about it. I'm kind of wondering what the ice is for, and it kind of leads me into, again, some snippets they have in the preview about Gyokyo, so it kind of makes me wonder if that's going to be specifically for her, but I don't see her getting in trouble. I don't see this being a big deal. I can see Zhoulan being upset about it, mainly the idea that Zhoulan is a very people person. She's very likable. She likes to talk to other people. She's very social, and thus she would not want to bring misfortune upon somebody else. That something like this is going to cause this person a lot of problems, and I caused it. But again, I'm more curious about what the hairpin's going to be. We'll probably find out in the next episode, but that's where we leave it. Zhoulan in Crisis. We're going to cliffhanger it in Zhoulan in Crisis. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the episode. Good episode overall. Not crazy, but at the same time, a lot of good insights into Lishu's character. I like how it doesn't necessarily correct her character. Again, the idea that she believes that this ghost was her mother. Mao Mao tries to tell her it's just coincidences. It's only coincidences. It's not a ghost. Lishu doesn't want to accept it because she has this deep-rooted blame that she put upon herself, that she caused her mom to lose the thing that she loved so much, which was dancing, and possibly lost her life to her. She went downhill after I was born. She passed away. And then this one thing, I was supposed to polish it, and I'm not polishing it. So she's here to tell me I didn't do it properly. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. She's here to haunt me. It's a massive blame that she has upon herself that I don't think is going to get fixed anytime soon. So we'll see where that goes in the future. Anyhow, that's my thoughts on the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know, are you on Team Lifa? Are you on Team Lishu? Are you on Team Gyokyo? I haven't asked that in a long time. Which team consort are you on? Additionally, if you are a source material reader, please do not leave any spoilers down below. Anything here speculation-wise is for purely speculation, just having fun, trying to figure this stuff out. But additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Like this content, you want to support channel more, I links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care.